Cool. Close this out for now. There is some stuff I do want to do in here actually. There is some stuff I do want to do in here. So I might look at this for a bit. Do I not use this? I had typo. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's take a quick look here. I don't know where I left off with this. Um, what the heck was I doing? Update lists, done list, refresh lists. What in the heck was I doing? There's some code changes in here. Finished. I was trying to finish tasks. I don't remember what weirdness I was encountering. Hmm. Oh, dude, that is pretty tight. Oh, make finish button work. That's what I was doing. So if I go here and then I stop and I click finish, it's not finished. Why is it not finished? That's what we have to look at right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. I remember. I think this was happening because something maybe is getting passed by value and it's being copied. So we do task finish. Which is actually a reference to a task now. Which may actually be getting finished. So let's do this. It's probably happening. But the other aspect of this is there's no file saving. There's no file saving tied into this, right? So we also have to make it save the file somehow. So let's go garbage task. Right. Start, stop, finish. Finish task, garbage task. Now, something else I should do too is maybe actually if I go here, probably oh it is in here. Oh right, because right. But what I wanted to see is the GUID the same? And it looks like it's not. Yeah, GUIDs are totally different, which means what's happening is a new task is getting created. New task is probably getting created using that implicit conversion constructor that's converting it from a string into a task. Right, so let's take a look. I guess here. what we want is we want to find usages, yeah, and see where we're using this. Timer ticked. Oh, that'd be interesting to see too. It's actually really good. Okay, so wait, hold on. So let's look at my messages. No, sorry. This one. Timer ticked. I didn't let it tick. Okay. There. So let's go here. Oh, what? Wait, hold on. How come I don't see that in here? Oh, because it has a task name. Got it. What does that look like? Got it. Why did I... that's probably not what I meant to do here. I think what I meant to do here was to go like this. Oh. Oh. Which I don't think I had exposed. I might have it exposed now, though. This might help reveal some things. Oh, whoops. I meant to do this one. And I think once I get this finish button working, then we can actually start working on stuff again and using it. Look at this. It has yet another UUID, which is not the UUID from the file. So what this might mean, it has to do with the way this is being passed around, the communication that's going around here. Pomodoro logic. So let's go here. I think what's happening is Pomodoro started, right? Right, if there is no task, it's creating a new one. Actually, I think this is the bug. What needs to happen is we need to set the task somehow, right? So either Pomodoro started, signature has to change. Either the signature has to change or we add a new one. I think the right solution here is to add a new one. I think we need another one that says Pomodoro started, and instead of a task name, it has a UUID. That would be the same signature though, so the name would have to be different. It would have to be like Pomodoro started with UUID. or it would say not Pomodoro started, but task started with a UUID. And the other one would be task Pomodoro started named well, something like that. But here's the thing. We don't know. That's the problem. We don't know what the current task is. So oh, that's true too. Another idea is we could pass all parameters, and one would be a UUID, and it'd be one function that does everything. And then UUID would just be empty. I don't know. So I'm trying to be respectful of the API and have my UI not know about tasks necessarily. Let's look at my intake real quick. Because my intake has add item, delete item, item selected. This is the important one. Item selected. Item selected probably needs to get registered in here somehow. Ah, but this takes a queue item with item text. Oh, task selected. Okay. Oh, yeah, that is weird. This already breaks that because it's a UI that takes a task. Hmm. Basically, I need some way. I need some way to signal from the UI to the logic to the controller here to say, hey, controller, set this task to the newest task. And that's what needs to be done. Okay. I see what's going on here. I see what's going on. What's going on here, and this kind of makes sense. What's going on here is that my UI actually has a task list, which it really shouldn't have. Right, because my UI doesn't have the intake does not have its own controller. And that's what the problem is. But if I add a controller to this, it's going to add a lot more boilerplate code. But really, this task list should live in the logic. And that should be that. And task list should maybe even be a singleton. I think I talked about this once before. Because if task list is a singleton, then we can update things in task list. So like right now, I have this task here, but my task list, if it becomes a singleton, in addition to just being, well, I guess that's the decision I need to make. In addition to just being a data structure, the task list could keep track of the current task. Although that's likely something that I want the logic to handle. So let's see. If I go into intake and I want to remove tasks. All right. The other side of this is that I see. Right now, what looks like is happening. Oh, why is this here? What it looks like is happening right now is intake just always creates its own task list. So actually, I have this task list here in the Pomodoro logic. I don't think it gets used. I don't think it actually gets used anywhere. Like, let's take a look at this. We instantiate it here. And then this tries to set the task name. But we never initialize it. Look at that. So this is actually probably a big part of my bug too. Thing is, I have a bunch of code in here. I don't know what it does. Enhance load completed tasks in done list instead of to-do list. Let's push this. This hasn't been pushed yet. Let's look at some of the stuff that's done here. We can definitely commit this. Show with text. Update lists. Ah, I see. Refresh lists. I think this can go by itself because I don't think that function is used anywhere. Let's take a look at intake. Refresh. Yeah, refresh list is private, which is good. That means that this can be committed by itself. We can tell just by the fact that it's private. Refresh task list when showing. Fix task list not refreshed when showing intake screen. Easy. Now this, we can take a look at what changed here. That's just being explicit instead of implicit. Emit update display. That's just adding debug information. This is adding, this is trying to add, okay. This is also being more explicit. Did I make a change in task to make it explicit? I did not. I did not. Finish task. Okay, this is trying to finish the task. Oh, I see. So let's look at the header file, see what we added. Set task named. I see. Finish task requested, task. Oh, we made this into a pointer because we thought that's why this was being weird. And the reason why this is being weird is because our brain isn't braining, I think is the real reason. So some of this stuff can be committed, but I don't think it all has to be committed. So let's take a look. New task. Oh, I see. Set task. I see. So the way we're setting tasks is weird. Well, finish task requested should go to task requested. We should have this finish task requested in here. That's pretty straightforward. I can't. Is this the entire change? Oh, I see. It's scrolling. Right. And then this was because we made it into a pointer. We have to use pointer notation everywhere. What changed? Oh, pointer notation. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. Oh, it's pull request. Let's look at this. I might want to view this over here. How's it going to open though? That's what I thought it was going to do. I would love to not unsplit it, but just toggle it. I don't think there's a way to do that. Like, we definitely want to connect this. I'm trying to figure out how much of this I should keep and how much of this I should throw out. Because we definitely want this signal connected. That's something we 100% want to be committed. And then let's go. I'll just do it through here. And we'll add some stuff. Set task. The problem is that this removes set task. Oh, but set task is still in there. Because the thing is, I don't want to commit that. I guess it might be easier to do it through here. Was it F8? F7. What I want to do is add finish task. Oh, I see. Right. Okay, so if I do that, I think that's good. And then let's take a quick look. Well, set task obviously has to be a public method, no? Yeah. And that's tied to the main window. Okay, but what I think I'm going to do right now is just commit these two things. I just add the signal and leave it at that. Oh, it doesn't actually stage it. Ah, so stupid. So what is this? Main window logic. Add finish task requested. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. Code styles. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I'm going to commit it, but what's project XML? Yeah. But what I really want to do here mostly, I'll amend that. I'll add that to the previous one because I don't know what it's actually using. What I really want to do here is stash all changes, set task, and then we're going to go back because the way we're going to actually handle this is we're going to move the responsibility, which maybe isn't such a good idea, but we'll see. So what I'm thinking we'll do here, right now intake is responsible for its own logic. So I think what needs to happen is that task list one of two things needs to happen. This either needs to be a reference, or all of that logic has to move into this controller, or we have to break that logic into its own intake logic file, into its own controller. So intake here, sorry, this is a task. All right, so intake, how big is this file? 285 lines. And let's just take a look at how this interaction works. Because the other thing to consider too is that I wanted to, at some point, convert this to, where the heck is it? Intake, list widget. I wanted to convert these list widgets into list views. What was the last thing I asked you? What are the benefits of converting my queue list widget into a queue list view? I think I can use custom widgets in a queue list view, which I think I do eventually want. Separation of data and UI. Queue list view works with models, keeping your data independent of the widget. This improves design, testability, and reuse. Optimized for large data sets. Lazy data access. Okay, I get the gist of it. Customization via delegates. Yeah, this works exactly. It seems like it works exactly the way list views work on iOS. Sorting and filtering for free. Reusability across views. Cleaner editing workflow. When to stick to queue list widget. Small static lists when you need quick one-off UI with minimal code. For anything dynamic, larger, requiring sorting, filtering, custom rendering, prefer queue list view. I think it should be list view. The question is this going to help me achieve my goal? I'm trying to make it so that I can finish a task. I don't know if the timing is right just yet. Like, it's something I'm gonna have to do, but I want to focus on making this stuff completable first, which works in here. So what I might need to do, trying to see how I use it. Value right. Add item, adds directly. Item clicked, emits the task selected. The cogs are turning in my brain right now. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do, load list. Basically, like anything that interacts with this directly, adding it, all this other stuff would have to be delegated to a controller. And that controller would hold on to the list. The other thing that we can do, probably the shortest, the lowest hanging fruit here, is make the task list a pointer and let intake modify it directly. This is like the dirtiest. This is probably the dirtiest, quickest way to do it. So this would have, and then this would also, I think, have to be created on the heap. So we would have to open up logic and what I wanted you to do. Right? So then what would have to happen here? Oh, actually, that was kind of okay. Tasks, which I don't think gets used really at all in here. So me creating this on the heap is like little consequence. I just have to add the word new here. And then where do I actually use this? Declaration. Like that's it. I never use it. That's it. Right? So we would do that. And then task actually might also have to become a reference. But that's fine. One thing at a time here. So we make this a reference. We create the list in here. And then in my intake, instead of creating it here, I'm going to delete this. We're going to pass this into the constructor for intake. Instead of just taking a parent, this is now going to take a parent, and it's also going to take, yeah, you're so smart. But instead of const ampersand task, I think it's going to be a const pointer to tasks, because we're going to do this. And that's going to force a big change here. Well, we don't want to do that. We just want to say, right? And then here, this is also going to equal null pointer. Is that right? Sorry. Did that backwards. Actually, what we want oh, yeah, because we don't want it to be const. Because if it's const, then we can't change it. So what we actually want is not to make it null pointer, but can I do that? I think so. Yeah. We can default it to that. But it might be better to require this so it doesn't just create new random crap. That will break stuff, and that's fine. And then here, we want to find usages of this, and we're just going to have to change each one. I actually don't know. Oh, because task selected, I just realized, yes, that's going to alter this because task selected sends back a copy of a task. We don't want to send back a copy of a task. We want to send back a reference to a task. And we want to send back a reference to a mutable copy of the task, which is the whole point of what we're trying to do here. No? Or it might be something weird like this. I think because this could be null. Hold on. I think it's because the types don't match. So the question is, what type is this? Ah, that's returning the task list. The question is, how do I use array notation on a pointer to yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, though. How come that doesn't work? That doesn't work either. Oh. Mm-mm. It might be because it has to be rebuilt. I'm not 100% sure. Let's go through the other usages first, because these will all be much simpler, faster to update. All right, I can just hit F2 to go to the next error. Oh, whoops. Oh. Is non-standard mice. Oh. So how do I get... I think what I'm going to run into here is an escaping value. Yes. Right. Because, right. So how do we fix that? How do I fix that? Part of me is thinking maybe I should change this task list into a singleton for reduced complexity. Or maybe it doesn't have to be a pointer. But I'm pretty sure if it's not a pointer, it's not going to modify the original, which is the behavior that we do want. Or again, the other solution is, you know, this is a UI file. It should not have this, period. Everything should be a delegate. So if everything's a delegate, then the UI would receive string lists for everything. I think that's the right thing to do, because if I decouple this UI from the model, then the advantage of decoupling this from the model is that if I decide to break that controller out into its own controller, I can just do that. And it would just be like moving stuff. Let me do that. I'm gonna... It's my water out. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna be right back. And take a quick break. I'm gonna be right back. But I think that's what we're gonna do. Quick bio break, guys. better. All right. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So this is gonna change dramatically. We're going to, and then this would have to change. Task selected wouldn't be a task anymore. That's like a huge change. Let's just delete this. Let's delete that. Now the problem with that is that save and load, which is fine. They're not, save and load shouldn't be part of the UI either. So save and load have to come out of here. So all of this can go back to the way it was. Right, so this is gonna come out of here. It's gonna go back to the way it was-ish. No, these are gonna become signals. Right, these are gonna, oh gosh. Okay, we'll just take them one step at a time. So, update lists. Task name. So how are we gonna update lists? Update lists. Yo, brother, what's up? Can't reveal. So update lists, refresh lists. What's the difference between these two? These look like the same function. What? Do I use this anywhere? This looks like it was supposed to get deleted and it wasn't. That's actually hilarious. Small indie, what's up? Is my sound working? Yeah. Update lists and refresh lists are the same freaking function as far as I can tell, except that update lists only clears one of the lists, which really isn't all that useful. And this one just picks the right list, so this one does the same thing. Might be doing too much at the same time here. So one problem that this is gonna have yeah, there's an ownership issue here. Why is refresh list broken here? Yeah, that's fine. I must have spelled it wrong. Yes, I put res fresh. Okay. Task selected is going to take a number. Which is fine. It could be copied because it's an integer. So that's going to go like that. Right, now we got to get task named. So finish task named. That's going to have to change. Oh, this is such a big change, dude. So this is going to be item text. Current row. I think I'm going to use item list current row for both of these. Wait, hold on. This is going to be done list. Unfinished task. Yeah. And this is not working because this is a function. It's not being called. So we're going to do that. Yeah, it's just kind of silly that we don't use it, right? Replace local variable. Oh, it's just going to be like that. Yeah. Wait, why is this red now? It wasn't red before. Oh, this is not going to work. It's the best way to do that. Kind of have to cache it, essentially. Is what we're going to say. What we're doing here is oh. Okay. Why doesn't it like that? Oh. No, yeah, that makes sense. So finish task. Named actually has to be renamed. Finish task at dude, why do I use rename if it's not going to rename things? So let's put a new task over here. Let me call this remove task list from intake. And I'll go like that. Because I haven't been timing myself here, which I should be doing. Right, and then what this will need is this will need a reference to the controller, right? Which we can use logic for now. Oh. I forgot what I settled on for my convention. I think I'm going to use just regular underscores instead of the M underscore. Oh, I see. That should be fine. These are probably not in order. Then add item, delete selected items. Ah. That's fine. Add task requested. Uh, Probably what I should do. Actually, I forgot. Should QString be fast as const ampersand or const pointer? For input parameters. Oh, without allocations. Oh, okay. Avoid const QString for input. Okay. Right, because it could be null. This can't be null, and we don't want it to be null. So this will be logic add task named. Oh. Right, and then this will be delete selected item. Q widget item. Q lists. Q lists. Q list widget item. I think it does have a row or an index. I would find it really weird if it didn't. But maybe not. Data, flags, font is hidden. Is selected. What does that mean? I mean, I could keep the same signature, but queue list. How do I get the row number of a queue list widget item? Oh, okay. It's a weird API, but sure. Oh. And then task named has to come from logic now. Finish task at. Oh, finish task at. We're changing to index. So row. I see. But if we take the item, that's hard to do. So I think we need to do. Ugh. I think this needs to be finish task. Finish item, maybe, is what that needs to be. And then this becomes finish item with a const queue list widget item. And then that becomes finish task at item list widget row item. Yeah, like these are all things I could have put into a singleton. Might have been better. Maybe the singleton, instead of making the list itself a singleton, maybe the singleton would be its own class. It would be like the list controller. That would be reusable, right? And the list controller would own the list. That way I don't have to add all this crap into logic. That makes more sense. And then logic would own the list controller and pass a reference to the list controller to intake. That might be the better way to do this. But That's fine. I'm going to continue with this, and then what we're going to do is in the next step, I'm just going to move all this to a new file. Finish item. Has no member finish item. It should. Oh, it's not built yet. Done list, add item, item. String label. Oh, okay. That's fine. Cannot initialize auto star with void. Oh. And then the save list, saving and loading the list would also be in that controller. That's really what makes sense. Unfinished task, and it's the same thing. Logic, unfinished, item, list widget, row. So what would that be? A list manager? List manager, list logic, list controller. List manager, I guess, because it's going to be a singleton, which makes sense. Right? Yeah, I think that makes sense. So it'll be a wrapper around the list. That's fine. So let's go here. Oh, why are these all private? That's weird. Oh wait, set focus list, finish item. Oh, that's fine. Finish, unfinished item. All right, so what I have to do instead of Pomodoro logic, let's make a list manager. Where is my, oh, task list is here. So task, so I'll add it here, I guess. Right, cool. So list manager will go private. List manager. Is that right? But I don't. I don't know if that's right. I don't think that's right. I think it's gonna be like that. If I'm side questing too hard here, it sucks. That's fine. These are just steps that we take to realize what's going on. I actually don't know how to make a singleton in C++. I'm guessing I would want to do this, like have a reference like this, and then maybe a private static. Is the Myers singleton a function local static instance? It's lazy initialized, thread safe since C++11 and destroyed automatically at program exit. Oh, that's cool. Oh, and then we make the constructor private. Which I don't know 100% that I want to do just yet. Okay. So, right. I guess that makes sense. It'll be like this, and that'll prevent it from being null. And it'll be a function like this. Right. Okay, because it doesn't need to be created on the heap for any reason. Right. And then we'll have void load file. And this is all going to come from the existing intake. Load list, save list, all task list path. It's all going to come in here. Except load list and save list. Oh, I see what's going on here. Well, that's fine. This can go into here. Right? So question is load lists. Oh, I see. So that could still exist in the intake. I hate the fact that I can't see where the lines are that I just deleted. All right, that's an add. This is a change. Most likely it was over here. update lists. Oh, because it was down there. It was a straight delete that I didn't see. Okay. Oh, so this doesn't... Okay, we don't need... We don't need this. This is all going to come out from here. This is going to come out. That's going to be part of the manager. And then this can be private. Mm-hmm. Yes. Why is this red? Oh. I see. And this is automatically sorting out the list. So this is clever. This is clever because it's doing this. It's iterating once through the list. Instead of iterating twice. Because it was looking at the tasks. Problem is, if I return, if we want to keep the model out of the view, I'm going to have to return a QString list. And each one would be separate. So this one single loop would be replaced by two loops that would have no logic, which I think is still better. So that's fine. So void, so QString list to do. Right? It would be like that. And then this would be I'll just replace it with these two things. It's fine. Then load list is going to get deleted. Refresh lists does need to happen though. Where does load list happen? It only happens when we show, I think. Oh, it happens when it's constructed. So we'll go to our list manager. What I'll do here, actually, we'll go like this, and I'll go but the problem is that if I do this, I can't change what file is loaded. Right? So it shouldn't be const. That means there's going to be state in this class. The idea was I wanted to make a singleton that I could just replace the instance with a different one. But I guess that wouldn't be a singleton. Where's my caret? No, I'm not looking for caret. I'm looking for 0. There we go. We're going to do that. And we're going to do go like that. List manager, list manager. Right? And then we're not going to refresh list. Well, we could if we wanted to. What we would do then is we would emit refresh lists. Is what we would do. And then if I'm emitting refresh lists, then instead of pulling it from the manager like this, we would pass it in the parameters. I'll leave it like this for now. But I'm not gonna. It is a good opportunity to emit something though. At least on loading, right? To tell the UI to update. It is a good opportunity. I don't know that I'm gonna do it just yet. Oh, that is fair. How do we convert this? There probably is a map function. I think there's an std map function that I don't know how to use. I think I've done it once before. Use std transform. I think it should work with QList. Right. This is right. I remember the CN begin CN thing. I'm gonna take my break that I forgot to take a few minutes ago. I'll be right back. All right. We're gonna end this break a little bit early. Keep going. Do another 25-minute session on this. Okay. Actually, honestly, Q stringless is so easy. I'm just gonna use a loop. What's up, Hassan? Hashan, sorry. Auto, what am I doing wrong here? Q list task. Oh. What's the colon? I mean, that's simple enough, right? Functions returned by const value. I don't know why. That's fine. Let's do a simple loop for now. I think this class is like totally implemented at this point, which is great. Not yet. Wait, hold on. We need to create the constructor. Let's go here. File name. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Why is this all red? Well, for one thing, there's a comma here. And the other thing, I'm missing the scope. I think I should be fine. So this ensures that it's always set to something, the task list. And then load list. Yeah, replaces it entirely. Okay. So then my logic class, removing all this crap. And I'm replacing the task list, which we never even used, with a list manager. Right? And then we go back to here. Feel like I bit off more than I can chew here with all these changes that I'm doing in tandem. I'm pretty sure it does, but that's fine. So what are we looking for here? Right, this is going to be list manager instance. Oh, wait, sorry. Modoro logic. Actually, that's what I should have called it. What did I call it? I call it tasks. Oh, yeah, I did. I also called it list manager. That's a terrible name. Oh, boy. We'll rename this in a bit. Let's at least be consistent with what we did here. I was very focused on how this works. I wasn't really thinking too hard about what it was called. And we're not going to do this. We're going to get it from here. Is that what I want though? Is copied. Consider passing, right. There. So we'll go like that, and that'll be good. And then we'll default it to instance. Can I not do that? Oh, because that's not a const. There. Oh. This is a function. Can I not do this still? No, I can. There's some compilation errors in here still. Task finish. So we put that back. But actually with this, hold the phone. So what maybe actually happens here is that we don't have a task here anymore. I think we can remove this too. Might be complaining because this might not exist anymore. that not the same? Let's build this. I forgot. I don't know what state this is in right now. Things are all over the place. Let's build this, look at the errors, and then try to remember what we got to do. No declaration match is this. Okay, so I accidentally deleted it somehow. Even though it's positive, I had it here. I don't know how it accidentally got deleted, but it did. That fixes that. Nothing matches set task. Oh, because it's what? What's the actual signature? Set task, const task. Okay. Mm. Ah. Parent. I think this always needs a parent. So I think parent should come first, no? Right? Like, wait, let me take a look at the constructor. Oh, that's also optional. I see. I was trying to establish a pattern where like it would always be like the last argument, the parent would either always be the last argument or the first one. But if it's optional, it has to come later. And if we're actually using it in our code, then it has to come earlier. Maybe parent just should never be null. No, it's fine. Why is this complaining? Oh, that's not right. Um. Oh, why did I make this a reference? Although that might be what I wanted. I don't know. I don't know. It is a singleton. Oh, why is this cannot resolve symbol? I think. Oh. 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 Why are you adding all sorts of weird shit here? I'm gonna go back to this. It's closer to what I had. Finish item. Just give it the item. And an unfinished item takes an index. I don't like that because these APIs are now not consistent. So we'll make them work the same way. Because this is fine. This is private. So private stuff here on the UI, it's okay if we work with the list widget. And I think that'll make this more consistent. Right? So we just put this back. And then unfinish item like that. And then we're not changing these, so they can probably be const, right? Ugh. Logic, there is no logic. This would be manager. And then the manager will do his own list saving. I guess that is one nice thing, saving the list once versus doing it at the end. Whatever. Oh yeah, those are already const. And I'll just be finished task. Or this is finish item. Do another round of build. Build and cleanup. Cannot convert list widget item to const. Oh. That explains why the other stuff was red. Getting closer. For this. Oh. Oh. But shouldn't that be the default? Wait, hold on. Oh. See, this is why I made it a singleton. I made it a singleton because I wanted to put it as a default argument in places so I don't have to pass it around for convenience. But I wanted to inject it to give myself the ability to pass a specific instance later down the line in case I want to change that. No call to. Really? Why? Oh. Because again, the order. I'm getting nipped by the order here. Truly optional stuff comes first. The more optional stuff comes first. Although, to be fair, I don't think parent actually is optional. I think it needs a parent. I don't think this is optional. I think that becomes unoptional. That's fine. Remove task at doesn't exist. I'm just going to take a quick peek at the other ones. Still no matching function call to this, which is a lie from the pits of hell. It could be because the rest of our code's not building, which is why I've been fixing one error at a time. So let's look tasks, parent. So these are now both non-optional. Tasks, parent, it's the same order. Parameter tasks is never used. Oh, wait a sec. Task list is not, we're not using task list anymore. We're using the task manager, the list manager, the abstraction over it, which is why that constructor is not working. And then we'll still have those two errors for those functions on my list manager that don't exist. Oh, and that's it. Add task named. Okay, so now here, right? Remove task at position is kind of weird though. It is weird that it's like an incongruent API. Don't know how I feel about this. But the remove task at. There is a problem with this. There is a major flaw in this. When I remove the task, yeah, it's not possible. It's not possible. It has to be remove task named, which also sucks. It really needs to be a UUID. It really needs to be a UUID. We're just gonna do task named, and it's gonna be flawed. But that's what we're going with. That's what we're going with. And then we'll create these. It's flawed because I would have to know which list it's in. I would have to get the index. Well. That might still be better. But I think I already have a function to do this. Because I guess what I could do is I could say remove task name, blah, blah, blah. But I could also just make two functions called remove to do and remove. I'll either make it two functions or make it one function with an enum, right? And then it would get the item from that list at that index, and then it would use the UUID to remove it by the UUID, which would be the most accurate way to do it. Let me look at my task list stub right now. Remove named. There is a remove named. I think this will be the fastest way to implement this right now. And remove takes a task reference, which also makes no sense. It should be remove UUID. So we're going to go with remove named. We're just going to remove all of the ones with this name. Remove all named. Yeah. And so that's going to be the caveat. But I think this will work at least. And then once this is working, then I can start cleaning it up and making it more error prone. The moment of truth when I hit this button and nothing shows up. Oh, it's working. Okay. Now here's the thing. Uh-oh. Is that a segmentation fault? That is a segmentation fault. So we need to figure out why and where it's happening, right? I've only got a minute left. What I'm actually probably going to do here is take a break for lunch. This is still pretty darn good in terms of progress. But I need to eat, so I'm going to take a break for lunch. Probably not going to work on this for the rest of the day. But this is a good step in the right direction. I'm assuming probably what's happening now is something to do with the way my singleton's working. It's maybe not as single as I want it to be, or something, or some I don't know. Or it just could be a simple error in the way I'm doing this. But finish item, unfinished item, manager finish at. Ah. Finish at. Okay, so here's the problem. Just gonna write this down. Seg fault. The item is already removed. My guess is list widget row is crashing because the item's already been removed from the list because we used take item up top. Also finish at, again, this is another place where we could maybe have a seg fault, right? Where we're using at, tasks at. Finish at is using the index from a specific list filter, not the actual list, right? So there's a list, and then there's list views, basically. They're copies of just the strings. So we need to somehow... I didn't want to pass the objects to the view, but that might be what we have to do. We might just have to break the API to make our lives easier. Because if I pass a list of the actual objects, the advantage of doing that probably outweighs the disadvantage of, you know, a more tightly coupled UI to the model. Because what I'll be able to do then is I'll be able to pick the item from the proper list, and then I'll be able to pass back the UUID and use UUIDs for everything effortlessly. The only other way to do that would be to create a view model on the view side, and then it's like a kind of similar thing to just having the stupid model there in the first place. So that's probably the best way to do it. I'm thinking. I mean, the other way to do it, like I said, is I can take those two lists, like finish at. Well, hold on a minute. Finish at means that it's in the to-do list because we're finishing it. And unfinishing it means that it's in the done list. So that already tells us which list to look for. So we can keep this API by looking for this in the right location. Find index in to do. Find index in done. Right? And then we would just have to look up the task by its UUID, which I think we can do. Yeah, that takes an integer. Okay, that's my thought dump. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna eat lunch. It's 2 hours. That's just a decent amount of time to spend on this. So I might come back later and we'll do some games, but at least I made some progress on dev stuff. My other machine is updating right now to do game things, and I'm gonna start doing more game dev streams this week. This is really close to working. I just want this to work so I can actually use this to track my stuff. Once I get the finished thing working, I can start using this for like a couple of weeks and then go back in and add more features in terms of tracking weekly stuff and all that. That'll be